All right, racists.
They're warriors. From the very beginning, Black Americans have been a vital part of the American story, helping to make this the greatest nation in the history of the world.
Let's continue to correct the propaganda and the attempt at erasing the truth. Black Americans are not the descendants of the Indians in the history books. They are the Indians. The proof has been buried, but it's not gone. When Christopher Columbus washed up on these shores, lost and delirious, who did he write that he found? He called them Indios. He mapped a land he labeled India Superior, a territory that included Florida. He wasn't hallucinating an empty land. He was documenting people who were already there. These images can be found in Gran Canaria, Spain, at the Columbus Museum, Casa de Colón. And who were those people? They weren't the pale-skinned Siberians who crossed a land bridge, that's for sure. The historical records, the artwork from the era, the very descriptions, they detail people with dark skin, with hair textures that Europeans had never seen. They describe the original people as dark-skinned and woolly-haired, the true owners of the soil. The people that Columbus met were Black Americans, the West Indians of the Caribbean, the Indians of the North and South American coasts. All of these territories were Black civilizations. Native Americans are the erasure. They are the last part of the destiny swap, a foreign invasive group from Siberia, and was grafted onto the identity of the people who were already here, while the original people were systematically reclassified, enslaved, and renamed to sever their claim to the land. The Indian Removal Act was a removal of Black indigenous nations. The face on the old nickel, the buffalo nickel, that proud profile was a Black indigenous man, an American Indian. Every time someone speaks about Native American history while pointing to a group that arrived later, they are perpetuating the final stage of the conquest, the theft of the victim's identity. They replace the people and the story. Black Americans are not a people without a land. They are the land. They are India Superior. They are the Indians that Columbus couldn't miss, and that every power since has tried to make you unsee. The map doesn't lie. The history books do.
You might be a United States citizen, but that doesn't make you American. Now, I got a question, right? And I seem to have a hard time getting answers to these questions. So I'm gonna ask it. So if me and my Indigenous American wife move to China and we end up having a baby in China, does that make that baby Chinese? You can put that in the comments below. So look, we're gonna get into the identity theft and the blatant use of this identity by different immigrants here in America, right? And a lot of this started with the immigration, that established the United States. And so people believe that they come here, that they're automatically American. Like I said, they may be United States citizens. You might be a United States citizen, but that doesn't make you American, right? So I don't like to talk without bringing receipts. So we're gonna jump to the first batch of receipts, right? This is where a lot of this stuff starts, is the Native American Party, right? Or what they call the Native American know-nothing political party. The American Party, known as the Native American Party before 1855, and colloquially referred to as a Know-Nothing or the Know-Nothing Party, was an old stock nativist political movement in the United States from the 1840s through the 1850s. Members of this movement were required to say, "I know nothing," whenever they were asked about its specifics by outsiders, providing the group with this colloquial name. Supporters of the Know Nothing movement believed that an alleged Romanist conspiracy to subvert civil and religious liberty in the United States was being hatched by Catholics. And they were right to believe that. Therefore, they sought politically organized native-born Protestants in defense of their traditional religious and political values. The Know Nothing movement is remembered for this theme because Protestants feared that Catholic priests and bishops would control a large block of voters. In most cases, the ideology and influence of the Know Nothing movement lasted only 1 or 2 years before it disintegrated due to weak and inexperienced local leaders. The lack of publicly proclaimed national leaders in a deep split over the issue of slavery. In parts of the South, the party did not emphasize anti-Catholicism as frequently as it emphasized it in the North, and it stressed a neutral position on slavery, but it became the main alternative to the dominant Democratic Party. The Know-Nothings supplemented their xenophobic views with populist appeal. At the state level, the party was in some cases progressive in its stance on issues of labor rights, the need for more government spending, and furnished support for an expansion of the rights of women, the regulation of industry, and supportive measures which were designed to improve the status of working people. It was a forerunner of the temperance movement in the United States. The Know Nothing movement briefly emerged as a major political party in the form of the American Party. The collapse of the Whig Party after the passage of the Kansas and Nebraska Act left an opening for the emergence of a new major political party in opposition to the Democratic Party. The Know Nothing movement managed to elect Congressman Nathaniel P. Banks of Massachusetts and several other individuals into office in the 1854 elections. And it subsequently coalesced into a new political party, which was known as the American Party. Particularly in the South, the American Party served as a vehicle for politicians who opposed the Democrats. Many of the American Party members and supporters also hoped that it would stake out a passage, a middle ground between the pro-slavery positions of the Democratic politicians and the radical anti-slavery positions of the rapidly emerging Republican Party. The American Party nominated former President Millard Fillmore in 1856 presidential election, but he kept quiet about the membership in it, and he personally refrained from supporting the Know Nothing movement activities and ideologies. Fillmore received 21.5% of the popular vote in the 1856 presidential election, finishing behind the Democratic and Republican nominees. Henry Winters Davis, an active Know Nothing, was elected on the American Party ticket to Congress from Maryland. He told Congress that un-American Irish Catholic immigrants were to blame for the recent election of Democrat James Buchanan as president. Imagine that, an immigrant telling another immigrant that it's un-American when all of them are un-American. None of these people are American. They're all immigrants. Telling somebody what was not American. The audacity is real, right? It still is. Okay, so he stated, the recent election has developed an aggravated form in every evil against which the American Party protested. Foreign allies have decided the government of the country, men naturalized in thousands, on the eve of the election. Again, in the fierce struggle for supremacy, men have forgotten the ban which the Republic puts on the intrusion of religious influence on the political arena. These influences have brought vast multitudes of foreign-born citizens to the polls, ignorant of American interests, without American feelings, influenced by foreign sympathies, to vote on American affairs, and those votes have, in point of fact, accomplished the present result. So I want to skip down a little bit because, well, obviously you can see that these people were full of shit, as they are today. It hasn't changed, you feel me? Nothing has changed, but we're still going to get to know the Know Nothings a little bit more. But I'm just skip down a little bit. And we'll start here at the underlying issues. The immigration of large numbers of Irish and German Catholics to the United States in the period between 1840 and 1860 made religious differences between the Catholics and Protestants a political issue. Violence occasionally erupted at the polls. Protestants alleged that Pope Pius IX had contributed to the failure of the liberal revolution of 1848 in Europe, and they also alleged that he was an enemy of liberty and democracy. So, as we've seen before in history, the Europeans, they come here just to continue their wars that they started in Europe, where, I mean, these people have been warring against each other. They've never gotten along. They've had their 100-year wars, et cetera, et cetera. And so, in coming together to dominate this land, they brought their bullshit wars over here as well. One Boston minister described Catholicism as an ally of tyranny, the opponent of material prosperity, the foe of thrift, the enemy of the railroad, the caucus, and the school. These fears encouraged conspiracy theories regarding papal intentions of subjugating the U.S. through a continuing influx of Catholics controlled by Irish bishops, obedient to and personally selected by the Pope. So if you know anything about this word conspiracy theory, anytime you hear it, usually it's like a psyop. It's like a intelligence psyop to where there's a lot of truth to it, and the propaganda to defend it is usually to call it a conspiracy theory, because we see that being true to this day, right? In 1849, an oath-bound secret society, the Order of the Star-Spangled Banner, was founded by Charles B. Allen in New York City. At its inception, the Order of the Star-Spangled Banner only had about 36 members. Fear of Catholic immigration caused some of the Protestants to become dissatisfied with the Democratic Party, whose leaders included Catholics of Irish descent in many cities. Activists formed secret groups coordinating their votes and throwing their weight behind candidates who were sympathetic to their cause, right? Immigration during the first 5 years of the 1850s reached a level 5 times greater than a decade earlier. Most of the new arrivals were poor Catholic peasants or laborers from Ireland and Germany who crowded the tenements of large cities. Crime and welfare costs soared. Cincinnati's crime rate, for example, tripled between 1846 and 1853, and its murder rate increased sevenfold. Boston's expenditures for poor relief rose threefold during the same period. Okay, so, and the propaganda that these people like to spit when they come here is that the Indigenous American, or the so-called African American, is responsible for a lot of the crime rate here in America. But we see at its inception and the influx of immigration brought an influx of crime and, and poverty. So, the propaganda, again, is that we're responsible for all of this welfare, or, our people are welfare kings and queens, et cetera, where they try to uphold like clean-cut image, right? Well, nothing has changed, it's just evolved, right? Unlike later anti-Semitic nativist groups in the United States, and despite their zealous xenophobia and religious bigotry, the Know-Nothings did not focus their ear on Jews or Judaism. And they didn't, because they ended up taking on that identity as well, prioritizing a zealous disdain for Irish, German, and French Catholic immigrants. The Know-Nothing Party had nothing to say about Jews, according to the historian Hasiah Donovan, reportedly because its backers believed Jews, unlike Catholics, did not allow their religious feelings to interfere in their political views. In New York, the party supported a Jewish candidate for governor, Daniel Ullman, in 1854. All right, so we just went over a brief history of the Know-Nothing Party, and you can see in the clips that'll follow behind this clip that a lot of these people came in and were identifying as Native American and then claimed heritage to this land as American Indians. Now, my family we are most definitely the original Cherokee Indians of this land. And my family, we have lineage that travels way back prior to the Civil War, prior to the establishment of the United States. So our tribal affiliations with the Yanyanwea clan and the Cherokee tribe is Aboriginal. It's original to this land. Now, if you go and look up the federally recognized Cherokee chief, here you can obviously see it's a pale-faced European, right? So we're going to jump to the identity theft of this, and you can see in the definition of American, like I said, you might be United States citizen, but that doesn't make you American. So let's jump to that real quick. All right, American, adjective pertaining to America, right? But the noun, a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or the copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America, right? So remember the question that I asked at the beginning. So does that mean if me and my wife, we move to China and none of us have Chinese lineage, just because we had a baby in China, does that make our baby Chinese? Does that make us Chinese? Oh, it's rhetorical. You don't have to answer that. We all know the answer, right? So you see the obvious identity theft that has happened here. So when you look at the structure of the United States, you look at it at its inception, well, we had a lot of players that came in and claimed the identity of the real indigenous or Aboriginal Americans, right? That's what the name of the game was. So they could claim ownership to this land. And there was a lot of land theft along with this identity theft, and that's how they were able to pull it off. So as an indigenous Cherokee tribe, a real indigenous Cherokee tribe member, why in the hell would we try to seek recognition from a federal recognition from immigrants that aren't even from this land? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? That's like trying to go to somebody else's house and claim ownership of their property as, you know, as whatever their name is, right? Using their surname. So you're just going to take their identity and claim their property based on what at the time was a doctrine of discovery, and I mean, and it still is, and Christian dominion over so-called savages' land, right? So it's important that we set the record straight and that people go back into your lineage, right? I recommend all of us go back into your family tree and get your tribal affiliations. Now, all of us don't have tribal affiliation. A lot of us, you know, are, you know, some of us that look like me, maybe from Europe, because people have a general misconception that when you say European, that Europeans don't come in different shades as well. Like there aren't dark-skinned Europeans, like there are, you know, light-skinned Europeans. Like a European is just somebody that's Caucasian. And if you look into the standard form or the SF-181 form, and you look to check the box that says white, it doesn't say anything about Caucasian in that box. It's just giving a general geographic status of a group of people that may be from these regions, right? So when you do that, once you go through and you identify yourself, they classify you by what you self-identify as, right? So it's important to go back and correct your status from being so-called African American or black, if you've identified as that, to your lineage, which would be your American Indian tribe, right? And we got all the receipts in these clips that show, okay, who the real tribal American Indians are, and there are several reclassifications that have taken place over time, right? That's why we can't be deported, and ICE come for us because people know the real, people know who we are. So there's no need to get federal recognition from immigrants who stole your identity and are on your land squatting, right? Because none of the American Indians had teepees, right? We had actual structures that we built here on the land. We had the actual plantations. It's like my family. We established Vincent, Alabama, Pell City, Alabama, and several other cities throughout Alabama, right? We didn't have teepees on our land. Teepees was something that was done and created by Siberian squatters that were here fighting in unison with the United States government to take over the land in exchange for their so-called reservations, right? So we got to set the record straight on the history, because I know everybody's been lied to about this. I've been lied to about this. You had to go to school and take tests and remember and be indoctrinated on these same lies, right? But we're gonna jump to a few clips and let the record tell it. We'll jump to these receipts and I'll be back with you in a minute.
You're not black American. You're not black American. You can't speak for us. You're not black American. We're the only ones to trust. You're not black American. Stop trying to insert yourself where you are not wanted. I know you afraid of your homeland, that motherfucker haunted by degenerate spirits from overseas. Listen closely, you can hear immigrants running from their homeland because they feel it. America, we need to protect and conceal it. Listen, my friend, this is a friendship I can extend. You believe that you're me because we got similar skin. It's time that we put this one-sided relationship to an end. You're not black American. You're not black American. You can't speak for
they started actually saying, and because I'm in love that land so much, he said it's his beloved land, and that word was Mary, the beloved, Mary, M-E-R-I, Mary. And the land, of course, as before, is Ta. So you have the land, the beloved land, Ta Mary. And they kept that name and just put the Ta on the end of it. So Ta Mary became America. We simply say America. We kept the name that Egypt gave to the Americans. So that was the big mystery behind that $10 million map that Martin Waldseemüller made and then put the name America on it in 1507. And then those who knew and those who were trying to hide things said, wait a minute, you can't put that name on here. And the next time he reprinted that map, it was off, it was gone.
Black Americans are the original Americans. We are not descendants of enslaved people. We are the original people to this land. We are indigenous. We are the aboriginals. So it's time to remember who you are. The truth is coming back through genetic studies and memory. The more you dig into our true history, you discover that it has not only been whitewashed, but much of our history has been erased, not by time, but through paper, what historians call paper genocide. The 1887 Dawes Act was used to take our land, and it created colorism. The Dawes roll determined who was Indian enough, and if your skin was dark, you were reclassified as Negro, Black, colored. So the truth is coming back through genetic studies and through memory. So it is time to wake up and remember who you are.
This is how you got here. You got here in the Imperium boat. There's your people, right? You see your people in the back? He said, what does this image prove? It proves where you came from. It proves you was not from here. It proves you just got here. It proves that what you claiming is actually given. It's not earning. God damn, it's bars. Shit, that's when you know it's the divine talking to me, man. I didn't know the divine was an MC like that, bruh. This is what it proves. This is what it proves. This is you. You see them cats with the hats? They are the ones federally approving you. Y'all work together. See how that works? I know you see how that works. This is how you got here, bro. And like I said, this is the Imperium boat. Y'all on the Imperium boat. Y'all on the Imperium boat. Right after the Empire fall, and y'all use the equipment to bring you up in here. See how that works? Talking about, oh, he was not, you was. let me do a little zooming on your ancestors. Do you see your ancestors on the side? Zoom Baby said, wow, why should we believe you? Oh, I don't know what's going on the chat. I don't want to get involved, maybe. I'm not going to get involved, but man, look at here. This is how you got here, bruh. This is how you got here. That's your people right here. It's okay. All of y'all come from immigration, Ellis Island. And like I said, y'all use the Empire boat system to got here. Okay? Y'all use the Empire boat to got here. Now let me show you the Imperial. Let me show you the Empire boat. I told you. Right after that, right after the Empire fall in 1912, get rid of the Imperium children.
See, I told him, man. I told him. These are the faces of the ones that annihilated us at Wounded Knee. They never told y'all that they was the ones holding the guns, holding the rifles. This is the information behind. This is an album that nobody really knows about. But now we gonna know. Take a real good look at their attire, from the top of the helmets to what they're holding in their hands. This is classic Mongol armor. Look at the spear. Same thing. When they came over here, who knows? But they came over here with a mission, and they took out the real chiefs, man. They took out our real chiefs, man. You can still see his Afro-textured hair that they tried to cover up with his hood and his widow's peak. He is not one of them. These people know this.
came here day before yesterday to look for this, but a lady who worked here said, hey, you know what? They have this picture that I'm looking for in a private section, and you have to set up a private viewing. My question is, how are you just able to walk into the Native American section, North America and Mexico? Then this right here is supposed to be here, but it's not. All right, she said, no, you have to make a special appointment. So I already told y'all how I got this appointment, right? So I'm on the search, lineage. I'm on the search, looking for the emblem of America. So come on, mate, we gotta find it, okay? All right, boom. Can I just flip through the pages? Or that's the only picture here, right? Well, just this, yeah. So when was this, what's the information on that in terms of when was it printed or created?
I'll find out.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so I'm in the private room right now, and yes, please, yes. Thank you. So I'm in the private room right now, and I had to sign a little waiver. Okay, so yeah, man, this is real. It's real. It exists. It's in the British Museum in the private section, and you have to have a private appointment to come see this. So they have the black and white, and then they have the colored. Emblem of America. That's what the original Americans look like. All right, lineage, I'm about to get out the private room. All right, as you could see, like I said, this is real. I'm here, okay? I can't touch anything. Baby told me I can't touch it, but I'm here, I'm real. All right.
So I will elaborate why the word black is a curse. I'm gonna read the first line in The Creation of the Negro. The name that you respond to determines the amount of your self-worth. Similarly, the way a group of people collectively respond to a name can have a devastating effect on their lives. First and foremost, in order to understand the definition of a word, you have to understand the origins of the word, the root. The word Negro is Spanish for black. The Spanish language comes from Latin, which has its origins in classical Greek. The word Negro in Greek is derived from the root word necro, meaning dead. What was once referred to as a physical condition is now regarded as an appropriate state of mind for millions of Africans. Before slavery, people recognized each other as their nation or tribe, but our titles were replaced by colorable terminology, such as black, Negro, and colored.
Have you been affected by the current state of the economy? Are you finding it harder to save money or just barely getting by until next payday? Then why are you not a member of the Model Private Membership Group? In this group you will learn the essentials about banking, monetary function, and important strategies that will assist you in protecting and enforcing your equitable rights. We have two options for you to choose from to join the group. The first is the basic plan for $14.99, where you will gain access to the library section along with the model main page. At this level you'll receive guidance on what direction to go in to get specific processes completed. You can also join annually for $99.99. Second, we have the advanced plan where you'll get everything from the basic plan, plus you'll get free coaching appointments to get in-depth solutions to complete your process. This tier starts at $29.99 and the annual plan is just $199.99. Don't wait. Join today. Be the best.
Welcome back. Yeah, so look, what we're not doing from here on out is letting foreigners tell us who we are, you feel me? Not even the ones that look like us, because everybody's in on it. There were 7 nations that came over here and took this land over. If you count Africa, then that's 8, right? So we're not allowing people to put their agenda on us and tell us who we are. So take this shit serious, you feel me? Go do your family tree lineage and find out who your people are. Get the real for yourself. Don't allow people to tell you who they are, because, you know what I'm saying, everybody's in on the take of American identity. Tell them, you might be a U.S. citizen, but you're not an American, you feel me? So we got to stand up and have some, and develop some self-pride, you feel me? And some American pride. And that's the reason why everything that's going on here now, there's nobody with American pride to take action on this land, because these people aren't connected to the land. You feel me? They're immigrants, and so all of the corruption, all of the pollution and everything that's happening now, nobody's connected to this land but us. So nobody really gives a fuck, because they can always, you know, go back to their homeland territories or wherever. They're just here to capitalize and, you know, do their business here while using us as the workhorses for all of their activities. And for all of their corporations. We're here and they're floating bonds in our name, you know, to create funding for whatever they want to do. So it's very important that you get the real for what's going on. Really go down the rabbit hole and do something with this research, because this is not a game. This is not the time to be playing. So y'all can sit up here and watch all this bullshit, reality TV. It's leaving you out of touch. Look at all of this stuff, paying attention to these Epstein files and everything else is going on, which are huge distractions. The biggest responsibility you have now is knowledge yourself. And that starts with recognizing, realizing, and claiming who you are. And then move forward to leave something behind for the lineage behind you, besides a whole bunch of lies, propaganda, and bullshit rhetoric about who other people, especially these immigrants, say you are. I don't care if they're Negro B or not. They're not your friends. They smile in your face, but they have an agenda. They have an agenda. Alright? Y'all be the fucking best.
Get over to gboundrepublic.store right now and get you some of these dope new styles from our casual and fitness apparel line. Ladies, we have the most unique yoga leggings, yoga shorts, sports bras, athletic and canvas sneakers, and much, much more. Fellas, we have the dopest jogger, men's athletic and canvas sneakers, tracksuits, and plenty more. We also offer lots of unisex apparel, including sports jerseys, t-shirts, mesh shorts, and hoodies. Shop the brand that motivates you to be the best. What are you still doing here? Go now.